The virus has peaked and it's gone.
There's still lots of cases in other countries and it's spreading like crazy. Idiot.
Oh. China's done a great job at controlling the virus, controlling the spread of the virus. So we should all say thank you to China.
It's a pandemic and it's spreading to everywhere.
Oh.
You need to announce that it's now a pandemic.
We're not going to call it a pandemic because it's not spread to enough countries around the world.
It's spread to every corner of the globe. What are you talking about?
Oh.
It's a pandemic. It's a pandemic. You have the coronavirus.
Oh. Anyway, enough from the WHO, they don't really know what they're talking about. Right, so on to today's news. Hi everyone, welcome back. Today is Wednesday, the 26th of February. I always have to look at my watch. You know, being locked inside every day, it's kind of like, you know, the day and night, they all just blend in together and, you know how it is. Okay, so first to the numbers. At time of recording, there were 81,264 cases and 2,770 deaths. I'm sure that's gonna change, as it always does. When I put the numbers on the screen, they're always different to what I'm saying because I always take a screenshot much later on in the day when I'm editing, so the real numbers up on the screen and what I'm saying is a lot of... Anyway, today, apparently, or yesterday, I forgot. Anyway, the WHO announced that the rest of the world has overtaken China now in terms of new cases of the coronavirus, which I find to be a little strange, but not gonna go into that. Anyway, China today had 415 new cases, followed closely by South Korea with 284 new cases, bringing South Korea's total to 1,261 cases. At time of recording, I'll put the latest numbers up on the screen though, because I know it's going to change. Italy, 51 new cases, taking their total to 374. The reason why I'm worried about Italy is because it's in the EU, and the EU, up until the first few cases recently, the EU is like a freedom of movement place, so it's like, it's not as easy to keep track of people because you didn't need to buy a plane ticket or get a visa to cross a border or something like that. So people just go freely across borders and go to work in nearby towns and cities, and sometimes you don't even realize that you've gone across a border into a different country. It's just from this city to that city without even thinking about the country thing. So it's a little bit worrying that it's in Italy, because once it's in Italy, pretty much it's like it's been injected into Europe and it will be everywhere. Whether it spreads as crazy as China is yet to be seen, but it definitely is going to appear in pretty much every country in at least Western Europe for sure over the next few weeks. So that's a little bit worrying. Now, if you look at the trend for cases outside of China compared to the trend for cases in China, actually outside of China seems to be spreading a lot faster than inside of China. Sure, the numbers right now are much lower, but the trend is a lot steeper, it's a lot sharper. More new cases coming per day. It looks like it's going to be spreading around the world real quick. I'm not sure how safe I feel now anywhere in the world. I guess in China I'm more at risk because, you know, there are a lot more people with the virus here, but those people, a lot of them, not all, but a lot of them have been identified and are under quarantine or in a hospital somewhere. So in that sense, it's not as bad, whereas right now if I was to take a plane and say I was going to go back to the UK because it's safer in the UK, which I don't know if it is right now, I would have to go to the airport, I could be infected on the way, I would have to take a plane, I could be infected on the plane, and then when I finally arrive to the UK with an indirect flight, because there are no direct flights apparently, when I finally arrive in the UK I would have to be under quarantine for another 2 weeks, and I might even catch it there if the princess, what's it, Diamond Princess is anything to go by. So I don't know, I feel safer just staying put. One thing I have to talk about is this video.
لوازمی که میتونه پاکیزه بکنه و استریلیزه بکنه ما مشکلی نداریم. چند خط جدید تولید اضافه که در صنایع وجود داشت تغییر جهت دادن به سمت شوینده هایی که و اون پنجره ضمن که
That was the Iranian Deputy Health Minister, and he gave a press conference. They were pretty much talking about, you know, there isn't a cover-up, there were not 50 bodies buried or burnt, whatever, from the coronavirus. They only had like a few cases at that time, and the guy was standing there and he was sweating like crazy. He had to be given like a box of tissues. And when I was watching it, I was actually thinking, oh, this is a bit weird, isn't it? Is it that hot there? Like the guy standing next to him seemed perfectly fine. And if you live in that country and it's so hot, I would imagine that yeah, sure, you can live somewhere and it's hot and you're sweating. But he was a fountain, so that looked a little bit suspicious to me. And then the next day, for him to say that he's tested positive, gosh, you know, I feel a little sorry for him that he's got the coronavirus. Hopefully he makes a recovery, but at the same time, I'm not sure if I'm believing the numbers that they were saying, because, you know, when there's so many rumors from your own country that there are 50 people with the virus that died, so many rumors, and I don't know, and for him to have it, and the extremely high death rate for Iran, it just seems like there is a bit more to this story. But time will tell, time will tell. The truth always comes out in the end, so we'll just have to wait and see. Interesting news from Hong Kong. The Hong Kong government has decided to make a handout of 10,000 Hong Kong dollars. So that's probably around £1,000. I'll put the conversion on the screen. Yeah, it's probably near to £1,000 because, you know, a lot of people have been affected by the coronavirus, and some businesses, and especially in the education sector, they've stopped schools and certain other businesses. I'm not sure what the situation is in Hong Kong in terms of stopping work and staying inside, but the government's decided to give every adult 18 or over, every resident of Hong Kong 18 or over, a 10,000 Hong Kong dollar payout as like a, come on guys, you can do this. And also to boost the economy, because people are panic buying and trying to stay away from everyone else. So I think that was quite interesting. They've obviously got a lot of money. Imagine any country, time of crisis, okay everyone, here's £1,000, just chill. That is what you need to be doing as a government, instead of hiding numbers and lying and, you know, cover-ups and all this like, oh, well done Hong Kong. The American CDC has told Americans to prepare for the outbreak and said that it's not a matter of if, but when the outbreak comes to the US. And I agree as well, but also they've made a statement talking about there needs to be more honesty and transparency from world leaders about the virus, about the numbers, about how many people are affected. Because I'm not actually sure how honest the American CDC has been about this. I find it hard to believe that there are only 35 cases in the US when the US is probably, outside of Asia, it's probably China's top destination. So I don't know if I believe the numbers that are actually coming out of the US. And I hear that only 3 states in the US can actually test for it, which makes it even harder to believe, because there's probably people who are suffering and being diagnosed with other kinds of pneumonia when actually it's the coronavirus. So again, we'll see what happens in America. Time will tell. This virus doesn't seem to be showing any signs of slowing down anywhere in the world except for in China somehow, so we'll see. A sad story. I'm not sure again about how much I believe it, but whatever, it's a sad story to make everyone feel like, oh, we're in this together. A young boy was found alone in his apartment, and they were coming around the homes to check the temperatures of the people to see if anyone's been infected and is hiding it. And the boy answered the door and they asked, where's your granddad? Because on their list it had the granddad should be in there as well. And he said, oh, granddad's in the apartment as well, he's dead. So apparently the granddad died a few days earlier, but the granddad had told the boy to stay inside, don't go outside because there's a virus outside. So the boy had been staying inside eating biscuits to stay alive pretty much. And I guess he's lucky that someone went round to the house to check on him, to see if he's okay, otherwise he would have been, you know, he would have died as well. But I'm just thinking, if his granddad got infected and died, wouldn't that mean the boy's probably been infected as well, with a corpse, a coronavirus corpse in the same house? I don't know. I don't know if it's supposed to be a story to make everyone feel better about the situation and to make everyone feel a bit emotional. I'm not sure if it was that kind of story or if it was real, but whatever, it sounds a bit weird to me. Some schools in the UK are going to close because some people have been to affected areas on trips during the school holiday, and they're going to reopen again in another 2 weeks, or some of the students are being isolated. I'm not sure how it's going to work, but when this thing pops out in Europe and starts spreading everywhere, I'm not sure, there's probably going to be a lot of school closures and quarantines just like we're seeing in China. So to all my European and UK friends, best of luck in the next few weeks. And for me too, because we've got a housemate that's going to come back in about a week or two, and that could mean that none of us are allowed to go outside because he's going to come back from the north of China, and because he's going to be around us in direct contact with us in this apartment, I think we are going to be sealed into our apartment. Not sealed like you're seeing on some crazy videos, but like sealed, like there's going to be a big notice on the door, like just come back from wherever, and the neighbors can report you if you go out. And we're gonna have to do stuff like any packages that come, they'll deliver them to the door, like the housing management people. And our rubbish that we've got, we have to leave it at the door at a certain time and they'll come and collect it. I think that's what's gonna happen to us, because I don't think they're gonna let someone come back from somewhere else in China and then have me and Hillary and Oscar in and out all the time. So I'm pretty sure we're gonna be full on quarantined as well. We'll see how that goes. But that's all I've got right now. If I have anything else to add, I'll add that on to the end of this video. But otherwise, I will see you tomorrow. Let me know what you think about the coronavirus, and is it coming to where you are? Are you in a country where they might be covering up the numbers? Let me know in the comments. I'm not sure how serious this thing is, because everyone's saying there's cover-ups, and at the same time, I'm not, you know, I don't know anyone who's got it, and I don't know anyone who knows someone who's got it. So I haven't really got a scale of how serious this is. Maybe it's all in my head. All right, see you tomorrow. Bye.